All you did was say, married women are the best. The next second, you were reborn from a lifelong single guy into a total scumbag. He was a wife-beater, yet he married a popular young actress and even had an adorable daughter with her. But after the honeymoon phase ended, he unexpectedly got fired and blamed it all on marrying this so-called jinx. You couldn't help cursing under your breath. What a bastard. At that moment, the mother and daughter who had just been beaten by the original owner of this body were trembling on the couch. Xiaoxiao was holding the child. When she saw you staring at her, she instinctively hugged Meng Meng even tighter. Her eyes were filled with tears. It wasn't like she'd never thought about leaving with Meng Meng. But she was an orphan herself and all the family's money was in this demon's hands. Seeing how terrified they were, you let out a deep sigh. Since I'm here, I might as well deal with it. Then you slowly stood up and turned on the light. A warm orange glow lit up the whole room. Looking at the mess in front of you, you scratched your head speechlessly, then opened the window for some fresh air. After that, you quietly started cleaning up the empty liquor bottles around the room. Xiaoxiao still held Meng Meng and stayed curled up on the couch, but a trace of surprise flashed in her eyes. You didn't rashly bother the mother and daughter. Instead, you grabbed a towel from the kitchen and started wiping the table. By the time the whole place was spotless, you were already drenched in sweat. So you took some clean clothes from the bedroom and walked into the bathroom. Xiaoxiao stared at the tightly closed bathroom door, and her tense body finally relaxed a little. She looked at the room you had cleaned up, her eyes filled with disbelief. What exactly was this demon trying to pull? Mom, I'm hungry. Meng Meng looked up at her mother with her big round eyes. Be good, Meng Meng. Mommy will make you food in a bit. Xiaoxiao gently stroked Meng Meng's hair and said softly, she could only wait until this demon went to sleep before making food for herself and her child. Just then, the bathroom door opened and you walked out. The mother and daughter sitting on the worn-out little couch both shrank back at the same time. You shook your head, ignored them, opened the front door, and walked out. Xiaoxiao froze, despair filling her eyes. Is he going out to buy more alcohol again? Hadn't he drunk enough tonight? Were she and Meng Meng going to starve for another night? Xiaoxiao bit her lip, her face pale, tears falling uncontrollably. Don't cry, Mommy, Meng Meng isn't hungry. Meng Meng thought her hunger was what made her mother cry, so she quickly reached out her soft little hand and clumsily wiped Xiaoxiao's face. Xiaoxiao bit her lip, crying even harder. After a long while, she finally spoke gently in a trembling voice. Be good, Meng Meng. Mommy will help you sleep. Once you fall asleep, you won't feel hungry. Tomorrow morning, Mommy will get up early and make you something tasty, okay? Okay, don't cry, Mommy. Xiaoxiao softly hummed a lullaby, coaxing Meng Meng to sleep. She watched as Meng Meng slowly closed her eyes. Thinking about everything she had suffered in the 2 years since getting married, Xiaoxiao felt endless bitterness. She finally made up her mind. Tomorrow, she would leave. She would leave this hell. Even dying outside would be better than being tortured to death by this demon. Suddenly, the sound of the door lock came from outside. Xiaoxiao, still lost in thought, couldn't help trembling again. She instinctively covered Meng Meng's ears and quietly listened to the movement outside. You pushed open the front door and instinctively looked toward the couch, then froze. Did the two of them go back to the bedroom? But it seemed like they still hadn't eaten. You stared blankly at the food in your hands. After thinking for a moment, you placed it on the table and walked toward the bedroom. Xiaoxiao's body stayed tense. She heard your footsteps slowly approaching the bedroom. In her heart, she prayed you wouldn't come in. But the next second, a knock suddenly sounded at the door. I bought food for you two. If you're hungry, come out and eat. I'll sleep in the side bedroom tonight. Hearing this, Xiaoxiao's eyes flew open. Then she heard your footsteps gradually fade away. The room instantly fell quiet again, with only Xiaoxiao's nervous breathing echoing through the bedroom. At some point, Meng Meng had opened her eyes. She had clearly heard your voice and was staring curiously at the closed door. Today, that smelly dad didn't come back to sleep in the room. And it seemed like he even said he bought food for them. Thinking about food, she got hungry again. She swallowed and looked at her mother expectantly. Xiaoxiao looked down at her daughter's hopeful eyes, then finally gathered her courage, tiptoed to the bedroom door, and opened it. The smell of the food on the dining table immediately filled the air, and Xiaoxiao's eyes grew wet. He had really bought food for her and her daughter. Faced with this demon's sudden kindness, Xiaoxiao didn't feel happy. She felt fear from the bottom of her heart. Why was he doing this? What else did he want from her? Meng Meng, barefoot, came running over on her short little legs and peeked outside through the crack in the door. Then her eyes suddenly lit up and drool even started slipping out without her noticing. But she didn't act on her own. Instead, she looked up and stared at her mother with her big, unblinking eyes. Xiaoxiao helplessly closed her eyes, took a deep breath, forced out a small smile, and picked Meng Meng up. Be good, Meng Meng. Let's eat quietly. Meng Meng quickly nodded her little head. Of course, you heard the sounds outside from your room, and you let out another deep sigh. After sighing, you started thinking again. Only after buying the food did you realize this family only had a little over 1-800 yuan left in savings. You had to make money. A moment later, you suddenly sat up straight, eyes shining. How would you not realize this sooner? This was a parallel world. Excited, you grabbed your phone and kept scrolling through it. After a while, a smile appeared on your face. Just as you remembered, this world's cultural legacy and entertainment industry were completely different from your original world. Even some cringeworthy viral songs could dominate the hot music charts. You gripped your phone tightly, thoughts racing through your mind. Classic songs from your original world slowly surfaced in your head, one after another. As you kept thinking, exhaustion finally caught up with you, and you dragged your tired body into sleep. At exactly 6 the next morning, you gently opened the door and walked out of the bedroom. The dining table and kitchen had already been cleaned spotless. Xiaoxiao must have cleaned up after eating last night. You stood there and thought for a moment, then quietly went into the bathroom to wash up. You knew Xiaoxiao usually didn't get up to cook until 8, because the old you always slept until after 10. Only after he woke up and finished drinking could the mother and daughter eat whatever leftovers he had. You instinctively sighed again, then quickly washed up. Xiaoxiao was actually already awake in the room, but she didn't dare go out. The sound of washing up outside disappeared. Then the door opened and closed again. Xiaoxiao pressed her lips together, eyes fixed on the bedroom door, wondering curiously where he had gone this time. After waiting for a long time, there was still no movement outside. Xia Xiao glanced at Meng Meng, who was still asleep beside her. After thinking it over, she finally gathered her courage, quietly got out of bed, opened the bedroom door, and walked out. The smell of alcohol in the room had become very faint, and the fresh air blowing in through the window smelled wonderful. It all felt unreal to Xia Xiao. She hadn't smelled something this fresh in a very, very long time. Xia Xiao walked to the window and looked out at the world, slowly falling into a daze. Only at that moment did she suddenly remember that she was only 24. After who knew how long, the front door sounded again. Xia Xiao snapped back to reality, then instinctively tensed up and turned around stiffly. You also froze awkwardly on the spot. You hadn't expected Xia Xiao to already be awake. After washing up, you realized there was no food at home, so you had just bought some meat, vegetables, and rice.